Okay, hey guys, I'm posting this to help people understand the benefits and drawbacks of this JP Superlight wind, which is in the gold edition, which is the carbon Textreme construction. So this is 165 liters. This is the 2017 model. Got it from Isthmus Sailboards a couple of months ago, and with the idea of having a great Superlight wind board that would plane up in about 11-12 knots of breeze with a 9.5, and be a great board for me when I go on vacation up in Canada, where the sea breeze there is typically in that 10 to 15 knot range. So from a design standpoint, I think the Superlight wind definitely is that type of board, even for a 200-pounder like me. You get with a fairly powerful large sail. It seems like I can pump this thing onto a plane in about 10-11 knots, or just when whitecaps seem to form, I'm up and going. It took me a little while to get comfortable with wide boards like this, since I'm kind of more of an old school windsurfer, just kind of getting back into it. But the very outboard foot straps, I've got them in the more inboard position to get used to it. But it's a different feel than the typical 90s slalom boards, which I was really used to. It took me a while to figure out even ballpark where to put things in terms of the rig, the mast foot, even the boom height's a little different for me. Definitely not 100% dialed, but getting better and better each time I sail it. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is the drawbacks really to this board. And the biggest drawback in this construction is it's extremely fragile. The Textreme is obviously a very, very high-end construction method, where I guess they apply this fabric in tension, and it creates a very stiff, very, very light structure. The downside is obviously that it's extremely fragile in any type of impact situation. So, if you go over the handlebars, you're going to crack the board. And the first time I got the board, I didn't have this pad. This is from North Shore Incorporated. It's an extra large pad that isn't even advertised on their site. But if you get any type of board like this, highly recommend that you order one of these EVA foam pads from them and apply it. It's not difficult. Definitely helps with the impact which you're bound to take on the nose. But having said that, anytime the mast touches this board in any capacity, you're risking damage. So there are things that have happened that I don't even know how it happened, like this crack right there. Guaranteed it's probably the mast. I don't remember it happening, but because you've got this sort of dip down in the middle of the board where the mast foot is, it essentially, with relatively speaking, the sides of the board are raised, so it makes impact by the mast a lot more common. Having a larger mast pad is going to be helpful to distribute any type of load. I'm just having trouble finding one. I know Ion makes one, but nobody seems to import them in the U.S. So, have a long mast pad. Figure out how to pad your mast. Otherwise, this is going to happen. And I haven't yet repaired that one. It doesn't seem to be absorbing water there. I can't tell, but it doesn't seem to be. But the others definitely have been. There's a repair there. First time I was using the board from my from my harness hook, and that came out pretty good. I used some obviously epoxy and filler, maybe a little bit of cloth, and some Rust-Oleum with some sand in it just to create that texture. Here's another issue there. got to fix that. Doesn't seem to be cracked through, but I'll be patching that soon. And then, another one there. And these are two that I've just done with some carbon. I won't. It's not exactly uni fibers, but some mat that a boat builder friend of mine had. And oh shit, just peeled some up there. So I applied that just longitudinally in a couple of layers. Not the best material for this, but that's what I had on hand. So I'm just covering it up in case I go sailing today. It's hard for sure, but I'll be fairing this down a little more. Putting some light white filler on it, fairing it, and then painting it in the same way I did the others. Same thing over here. But you also get a lot of delamination areas when you hit, like this here is obviously delaminated. So I think what I'm going to do there is try and puncture it and just put some epoxy in there, some slow epoxy, and compress it down, and hopefully it relaminates itself. And I did that here, punctured it a little bit, and I need to fill that hole, but that's all pressed down again. And another thing there. So other than showing you that learning windsurfing again can be pretty difficult on these boards, and obviously I've taken some diggers here. It really doesn't take much to damage these boards. And the big mistake I made was not, I don't think, in getting the Superlight wind. I should have just gotten it in the in the wood construction, the wood laminate construction. A couple of pounds heavier, maybe not quite as stiff, but maybe it would have, I would have avoided some of this damage. Maybe not, I don't know, but got a pretty good deal on this board, so that's why I got it, and happy with the performance. Still getting dialed into it. It's definitely a pretty cool board, but when the wind gets up into the higher teens and waves, you're going to really want to be on a smaller board, or something with less volume. Handles the chop better. I've been out in close 20 knots with this and chop, and it's a handful with a 9.5. I really can't hold it down. So there you have it, JP Superlight wind. Just a quick review on this thing from my standpoint. Cool board, super fragile. Hopefully when I go up on vacation in a couple of weeks, I can really enjoy this a lot more, because I'll be sailing in its intended conditions and not in Chesapeake Bay slop, which is what I've been sailing it in lately. So that's it. Leave your comments. Let me know if you got questions. I'll try and answer them. Just thought I'd put this out there because there's really not a whole lot of information on this type of board, and thought people might want to know. Thanks.